Chapter 2: Heating: Staying Warm in Harsh Conditions. When it comes to living off the grid in the north, nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important than staying warm. The cold doesn't just nip at your toes up here, it gets into your bones, settles in, and makes itself right at home. If you're not properly prepared, winter will humble you faster than you can save frozen pipes. But don't worry, with the right heating system, enough fuel, and a well-insulated structure, you can stay warm and cozy, even when the thermometer dips to numbers you didn't think were possible. Options for heating. There's more than one way to heat an off-grid home, and each option has its pros and cons. What works for your neighbor down the road might not be the best solution for you, so it's worth considering all the possibilities before you settle on a method. Let's take a look at some of the most common heating systems used in off-grid setups. The first, of course, is wood stoves, wood-burning stoves. There's something undeniably satisfying about the crackle of a wood stove. It's as old school as it gets, and for good reason. Wood is a renewable resource. Having a forest nearby is often the norm in the north, and wood can provide consistent, reliable heat all winter long. Plus, it's hard to beat the warmth that radiates from a wood stove after you've spent the day outside in the snow. Relaxing by the fire is part of a normal day when you have a wood-burning stove in your living room. It can provide both heat and ambiance. Better yet, the wood is a renewable resource that often grows on your land in the north, making for a natural symbiosis. The downside? A wood stove is labor-intensive. You'll need to gather, chop, split, and stack firewood, and you'll need a lot of it. You'll also need an accessible dry place to store it. But if you're up for the physical work and have access to a good wood supply, either your own or purchased from a local firewood supplier, a wood stove can be an excellent heating solution. Most locations in the boreal zone offer ample amounts of deadfall, including trees brought down by ambitious beavers. For whatever reason, our beavers don't have a very good sense of judgment when it comes to sizing up trees they bring down. This leads to a steady supply of felled trees, where the poor beavers clearly lack the strength to drag the trees away. These trees can be 12 to even 14 inches in diameter and are extremely heavy. Too heavy for the beavers, but ideal for firewood. The property that I live on features a half-mile of riverfront on a small, slow-moving river with abundant marshland that beavers find irresistible. There are several beaver dams and homes along the stretch of river that runs through here. The busy beavers provide a steady supply of felled trees that they are unable to drag away. After a year or so, the abandoned trees are dry enough to easily split and burn. However, the trees have to be collected. This means dragging them out of the forest with a tractor and chains. Each tree is cut into 12-foot sections, then into 14 to 16-inch lengths, split with a log splitter, and stacked under a sloped roof, protected against the rain and snow. Fallen trees provide a generous source of firewood. The only cost is your labor and a chainsaw. A cord of wood measures 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. Approximately 3 cords of wood are required to provide supplemental winter heat for a well-insulated 1,200 square foot, one-story house equipped with propane-fueled in-floor radiant heat. The heated floor in this example is the main source of heat for the home. The floor heat operates between November and April and consumes between 125 and 150 gallons of propane over the winter, keeping the home's temperature around 68 Fahrenheit. The propane also heats an on-demand hot water system and fuels a propane-fueled refrigerator and cooking stove. Your mileage may vary. Split wood for the wood stove. So this is a picture showing the stack of wood and the log splitter, actually. Split wood for the wood stove is stacked under a sloped corrugated plastic roof to offer protection against the elements. This stack took a few hours to process and represents 2 poplar trees cut down by beavers about a year ago. The wood is dry and ready to be burnt. A mechanical wood splitter is a handy labor-saving device to have on hand. Propane. Propane is a popular option for off-grid heating, especially if you want something a bit more hands-off than a wood stove. Propane furnaces or space heaters can heat your home with the flick of a switch, and many off-grid homes also use propane for cooking, water heating, and even refrigeration, making it a versatile fuel choice. However, propane Propane comes with its own set of challenges. You need to have it delivered and stored safely in large tanks, and depending on how cold it gets and how much of it you use, it can get pricey. Plus, if there's a heavy snowstorm and the delivery truck can't make it to your property, you could be in for a chilly surprise if your tanks run low. So another picture with showing, let's get the following comment on it. This propane tank holds approximately 250 gallons, 1,000 liters. The propane is used for for the radiant heating system in the floor, 1,200 square foot, one-story home, on-demand water, the refrigerator, as well as the 4-burner stove. The tank is filled twice a year. It requires filling when the level reaches approximately 20% of full capacity, i.e. 50 gallons or 200 liters. In sub-zero temperatures, there is insufficient pressure when the tank volume is too low. The convenience of propane makes it a popular choice in the off-grid community. Potential issues with delivery, snowed in, fallen trees on the road, icy road, illustrates why it's important to monitor your propane supply in addition to having a reliable way to keep your road cleared. It also demonstrates the importance of having a secondary method of generating heat, like a wood-burning stove. So you want to have a fallback position. Pellet stoves. If you like the idea of a wood stove, but want something a little more automated, a pellet stove might be your best bet. Pellet stoves burn compressed wood pellets, which are more energy efficient and cleaner than traditional firewood. These stoves often come with thermostats, allowing you to regulate the heat more easily than with a wood stove. The downside? You'll need a steady supply of pellets, and they aren't as easy to come by as collecting a fallen tree. Pellet stoves also rely on electricity to operate the hopper that feeds the pellets into the stove. So you'll need to factor in power usage, especially if your power generating system is marginal or insufficient. Pellet stoves also require daily examination of the so-called burn pot and frequent cleaning to prevent residue buildup. Like propane, wood pellets are a consumable that will cost money to purchase, and if you're unable to pick up your own, will cost more money for delivery. Pellets must be stored where they will stay dry and protected against rain and snow. This can be in a shed or a building outdoors or in your house, for example, in the basement, provided that it's kept protected against humidity and flooding. Radiant in-floor heating. If comfort is king, radiant in-floor heating might be the most luxurious option for your off-grid home. Instead of heating the air, this system heats the floor, which in turn radiates warmth through the entire home. It's a highly efficient way to heat your home, and because the heat rises up from the ground up, it eliminates those cold feet that you get in with traditional heating systems. For off-grid applications, an excellent choice is a boiler system that uses propane or a wood stove to heat the fluid, glycol basically, that circulates through your home's floor. It's important to check with an experienced contractor to ensure that the proper type of piping is used, for example, the appropriate type of PEX that has an oxygen barrier that is compliant with the standards for this type of use. Consult with a competent contractor to find out the best current options. We're going to end it there and hopefully carry on later. Cheers.